Thanks for tuning in to the Old Dirty Basement. On this week's episode, we're covering the North Hollywood Shootout.
Indeed, on the morning of February 28th, 1997, the streets of North Hollywood became the stage for one of the most infamous shootouts in law enforcement history.
Yeah, and it really led to what law enforcement has today, like upgrading whatever they have to help out with the community because they didn't have the right stuff.
Yeah, they didn't have the weapons they needed. At any rate, we hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple, a written review, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the North Hollywood Shootout.
This is the Old Dirty Basement, home to debauchery, madness, murder, and mayhem. A terror-filled train ride deep into the depths of the devil's den.
With a little bit of humor,
History.
And copious consciousness.
I'm your announcer, Shallow Throat. Your hosts are Dave, Matt, and Zap. I love you, Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right.
hey, this is Dave,
Matt,
And Zap.
and welcome to the Old Dirty Basement.
where every week we cover a true crime.
Murder.
Or compelling story.
So sit back.
Relax.
And comprehend.
Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful, wonderful, extravagant edition of the Old Dirty Basement.
Damn.
Yeah. A sunny edition.
Sun, yeah, we had sun today.
Yeah, that's a rare thing anymore.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Well, no, I mean, like, around pretty bad hurricane status down there in Florida and what, Alabama, Georgia. It's a
All kinds of
mess.
stuff.
Yeah,
We're stronger than the storm.
Mm-hmm.
I got to mow my grass. I know that.
It is sunny in LA, though.
It is.
A lot.
It's always sunny.
It's always
Oh,
sunny.
that's Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Never
that's
mind.
right. So, Zap, you brought this one to our attention.
So wait a second. All right. So here's the mea culpa moment, everybody. So in a recent podcast,
Wait, what? Who? The what now?
Matt, if
Big
you,
word Zap. Come
Matt,
on,
if you
help
don't
me
know,
out, bro.
Matt, you went to Catholic school. You
I
went to
know,
Catholic church.
I'm
You know
saying
mea culpa.
For the ones who aren't going to the Catholic Church on Sundays, mea culpa.
My fault.
Okay.
So in a recent podcast, I swore up and down on my mother's good name. Somehow, some way, we had done this podcast before.
Mm.
We did not. In fact,
Never.
we never did this
No.
podcast on the North Hollywood Shootout.
And I'm just relieved we didn't, because I was very, concerned that I did not remember it.
I will.
Was this something that we mentioned Hollywood, like something with California or
Dude,
Hollywood or
I swear to God,
something?
I watch way too much History Channel shit, way too much. And so in those wee hours when, reality starts to mix with dreamland, it just all kind of becomes the same thing.
Mm.
So had I, years ago, or however many few years ago, I had watched a particular episode on a particular show on the History Channel, and this was the theme. So in my head, it's like, look, with all these goddamn scripts I'm writing, sure, we must have done that. Thank you. Thank you to our most faithful listeners for reminding us or pointing out that there was no way in hell
what the hell's Zap talking about?
we did this theme. So it is thanks to you that we are now making up for my fault, my own Alzheimer's, whatever the hell it is, Mandela effect. Let's do this. The North Hollywood Shootout.
And, and it's good that they're listening. I mean, at least we know people are listening, because I had a ton of people come up to me hey, you've never done that one, just so you know. I don't know. I'm not aware of that one. I'm like, we know.
In defense of Zap, I think we did discuss it briefly, correct?
Well, it came up on the podcast,
Yes.
because we were talking about
And something came up with the Hollywood Shootout.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and again, that's where it was almost with, an ornery response. I was like, yeah, dickheads, we did this podcast. Like, I'm telling you, I could have sworn we had done this.
In the depths of my mind, I thought we did something similar.
well, it was probably Scott Scurlock. Was a bank robber.
Could have been, and then we
there
brought
was
up the Hollywood Shootout.
Or maybe it was Hollywood from Mannequin. Who knows?
yeah, right. It could have been that one.
This would be a great podcast.
Consider, well, that's the other thing too. Got confusing because we do movie reviews. So I was like, is it a movie? Or,
But even
maybe
we do
it was
so many
something
movies
else.
about Hollywood's involved in mostly all of our movies. So
Right.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let us make up for lost time. Shall we dive into the North Hollywood Shootout?
Yes.
All right. We are talking about Larry Phillips Jr. and Emil Matasareanu were the two men behind the North Hollywood shootout. These were no ordinary criminals, and this was not their first heist. On July 20th, 1993, the pair robbed an armored car outside a bank in Littleton, Colorado, and were arrested on October 29th of the same year after being caught for operating a stolen vehicle. On June 14th, 1995, they robbed another armored vehicle, this time in Los Angeles, and in this instance, killing one of the guards and seriously injuring the other. In May of 1996, brandishing heavy weapons and body armor, the two robbed two Bank of America branches in L.A., collecting $1.5 million in the process. Their criminal history was riddled with previous armed bank robberies, where their violent methods had become progressively more calculated and lethal and earned them the moniker the High Incident Bandits.
High incident.
Yeah.
I would be mad at that.
Shit, yeah.
Like, you know, like
That's
guys get mad,
like the wet
wait,
bandits.
Like, what are they calling us? That's not my name.
Yeah.
So how did these guys come together?
So they met at a Gold's Gym.
Oh,
Yeah,
And I found that out
wanted to
because
lift.
Zap sent me sent you too the link for the documentary that was on the History Channel, like you said. And I guess they met at a Gold's Gym working out.
nice.
And then I had written down here the two things about him. Larry he had some real estate scams going on too before all this.
Awesome.
And then Emil, is that how you say that?
Yeah, Emil.
He was an unsuccessful software consultant.
Yeah.
So they both failed at those things they were doing. And I guess decided to turn to a life of crime.
Wasn't Emil was like picked on a lot too. They said as a kid coming into this country, not speaking like he didn't speak English as well, and
Right.
I think that was something he wanted to like get stronger, get bigger, so he wasn't picked on as much.
Right, yeah.
I'm reminded with the name Emil, maybe that was his name, maybe it wasn't. There was some kind of,
Emil Schlemazel.
well, close. There was some kind of gut-wrenching or heart-wrenching story about Emil or Emilio or Emilo or
Coming across like from Cuba or something.
correct.
Yeah, yeah,
Emilio was an Estevez.
Not him.
No.
No, it was this kid.
Charlie
And
Sheen's brother.
Everybody was made to feel bad for this kid because he was somehow like stuck in customs someplace or
Lucas,
come on. What,
No. I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I don't remember
right?
the
It
name
was-
though.
the kid with the funny face who wore the moon mask in that movie. What was that?
Oh, Mask.
Wonder.
Rocky Dennis.
No, Wonder.
Oh, Wonder.
Oh, Rocky Dennis. We have not done Mask yet.
we will do Mask eventually.
please.
So, but Dave, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly the story, but I don't remember the kid's name.
All right. So
But it was like he came across on like a plank of wood, like across the ocean
Probably.
or something, and then there was some
plank of wood,
like seriously, no, he was in the ocean.
river
They-
rat,
Yeah, they found him.
inner tube.
It's funny. You said that like I saw something on my whatever feed. I don't know what I was looking at, but it's like, hey guys, free boat. It showed this boat pull up to like the shore. Like 20 guys run off of it
Oh, geez,
and just run up past this couple that's like sitting there on the beach,
free boat.
and the boat's just sitting there like in the water, and they're like, hey, free boat.
It's messed up.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Thanks, Coast Guard.
But is this to, did you guys is this where they got arrested? Did we have that in there?
What are we talking about?
They were pulled over for like speeding.
Correct.
Yeah,
so,
yes,
so this
yes,
is,
yes.
I had given the backstory about 3 incidents in there. In fact, the first incident I'm looking at was on October 29th of 1993. They got pulled over because they were driving a stolen vehicle.
Mhm.
And
Right.
in that vehicle, if I'm not mistaken, they found a shit ton of weapons and
Oh, yeah.
bullshit.
And ammunition. Yep.
Mhm.
So it's even better. Thank you, the justice system. These guys get out. They plea bargained. They were in jail, I think, for 100 days.
I think it was 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 6 months in jail.
Either one, they
Yeah.
got out, and they eventually were able to argue back and get all of the confiscated shit.
They give us our stuff back.
Yeah.
Well, no,
why.
because
Like
the lawyer
when you
said
leave prison, you get your wallet and your watch back.
Yeah.
But these guys, we want our guns back. Okay.
Rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Like,
Here you go.
it was their lawyer that got their guns back during the trial, saying
good
that
lawyer.
that's the way that they'll be able to pay him back for representing them.
Oh, to
So
fence,
the judge-
to fence the weapons.
Yeah, the judge in the case said, yes, I'll give you your weapons back so you can sell them
Oh.
to give the money back to the lawyer.
I bet JW could do that.
yeah, he would do that.
Hell yeah, he would do that.
That's some shady crap.
Oh, P.S. While we take the opportunity, or while we're talking about it, I will take the opportunity. Thank you to A&JW
Yes.
for hosting a fantastic, yet another fantastic trivia night.
Trivia
Oh,
night.
yes, it's trivia
And Bill Coder too.
At
Bill Coder.
A&J Estates. And thank you to Bill Coder, the Mr. Karaoke, Mr. Trivia extraordinaire, the Asian for any occasion. Have him at your wedding, have him at your bar mitzvah, have him at your house, have him at your bar. You get a hold of
persuasion.
get a hold of Bill Coder for all of your DJ, karaoke, and trivia needs.
Yeah, he's the man.
We did win again. We didn't even try.
Yep.
We were hoping we'd like lose, but we couldn't.
No, just can't. We're like Brady.
Yeah, we're not even trying.
Tom Brady at
Yeah.
trivia.
It was the mathematical approach to that last round.
Mhm.
Was that what it was?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We were
I mean-
we were not in first before going into that.
Actually, yeah, you're right. There was a couple that we got tripped up on.
Mhm.
But then,
Anyways,
but then yeah,
that's inside baseball.
amazing.
Thank you, A&JW, and thank you, Bill Coder.
Yes,
The
thank you.
baseball bunch.
All right. On February 28th, 1997, not long after 9 a.m., Phillips and Mascherano, clad in body armor and ski masks, entered the Bank of America branch located at the intersection of Laurel Canyon Boulevard and Archwood Street. Meticulous in their planning and heavily armed with high-powered automatic weapons, body armor, and thousands of rounds of armor-piercing ammunition, they were prepared for war.
Yeah, and that guy's last name, I thought there was like pubes on my sheet,
Yeah.
but that's not pubes. That's,
No, that's,
those are like.
It's a lot of
He's Romanian.
So what is that called? The thing above?
It's
like-
not an umlaut because the umlaut is the two dots.
right.
It is.
sounds like a sports car.
It's
I got
Yeah,
a
umlaut.
umlaut.
shit.
coupe.
Maybe by the end of the podcast it'll hit
We'll
me.
figure it out. But yeah,
So these cats, I mean, these guys are just ready to rock. Like these guys they just pull up.
Mhm.
I mean, with everything, and I mean everything you could possibly imagine. Walk out, ski masks blazing. They're all in black. They're carrying these weapons, and they just walk right into the bank.
this bank too, they showed on that documentary, like it's a whole residential area behind it, and it's on that main street, Laurel Canyon Boulevard,
Yep.
which I think is tied to the Manson thing. Wasn't that off Laurel Canyon?
Laurel
Probably
Canyon.
in that area, but
Is that the wine? No, that's Corbett Canyon.
Corbin Canyon. But I was thinking about like a cooler way to go about this bank heist would have been like get one of them houses and dig underground.
Sure.
I like when they do that in movies. They
Yeah.
get
Like
into the
Bugs
bank.
Bunny.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
burrow your way
Yeah.
through and then pop up
Yeah.
and like
Or
come
be,
up.
or be like in a casino where you just drive the box truck to the side of the building,
Mhm.
and then you start chipping at the
Yeah.
brick.
The side of the brick.
Yeah.
But actually, weren't they were there for the armored vehicle, like with the money, right?
They were
They were there
these
for the
guys?
fucking bank.
The money.
Yeah, no. But there was supposed to be an armored vehicle to make a delivery to the bank that morning. Those guys were
maybe.
sitting in the car waiting, and then I don't think the armored or whatever. What are those vehicles called?
Yeah, like
the
a Brinks
Brinks truck, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
got, nowadays, there's like 3 delivery services. You got Guardian, you got Brinks, and you got Christ,
Well, back then,
Loomis.
I think it was
Yeah.
a Brinks truck, and they were waiting for that day to make the delivery, and it didn't show up, or it went, and they saw it going, but it went another route. And I think that's where they were like, screw this, whatever. We're just going to go in and get the money.
Get
Fuck
the
it,
bang,
let's go.
Yeah, they were ready to go because
And
they
for
had
all they-
everything ready.
And not for nothing, for all they know, maybe the truck had already been there before they got there.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. They did the what's that stuff called before you go on a job or
Yeah, like surveillance.
yeah, they
or
did the
whatever.
surveillance and they thought it would be there at that time, but they saw the truck. The truck went by and they're like, you know what, screw it. We're going to get money from this bank either way.
So speaking of their surveillance and reconnaissance,
That's what it is, recon it, yeah.
there you go. The recon they had done on this for months, by the way.
Mhm.
I mean, they scoped this out like really a lot, like thoroughly. They wanted to know every minute of every day what happens. They wanted to be able to set their watch to what's going on at this bank. And, well, away they went. So inside, they moved with precision and military-like discipline, brandishing their weapons and shouting orders at the terrified staff and customers. It was a scene of chaos and terror. The two methodically forced the bank manager to open the vault and proceeded to fill their bags with cash. But the robbery did not go as smoothly as planned. The anticipated cash on hand was much less than expected. Instead of a $750,000 payday for which they had hoped, the two ultimately walked away with only a little more than $300,000, And that was after Mata Serrano had unloaded a full drum magazine of 75 rounds into the bank safe, destroying thousands of dollars in the process.
That's crazy. So he shot through the money and made it like worth nothing then, basically.
He got so bent because the bank man, the manager that opens the vault, he's like, okay, look, man, here's what we got. Here's what you got. And he's like, show me the money, show me the money, show me the money. And, in just this fit of rage, because, one thing we neglected to mention, these guys dropped some phenobarbital before they went in, some muscle relaxers.
Yes.
So basically the I don't give a fuck drug.
Yeah.
And this guy just unloads a full 75 rounds into this safe. He's just that fucking pissed.
Yeah, and it's not doing anything. I
Except
guess
destroying money.
Yeah. But they had I think the $750,000 was due to the Brinks truck that didn't show up that day. So
I read
when they
that
got
too.
it, yeah, so they were like super pissed. And
so
then
it would have been there.
yes. And that's why, and I think they did walk out with the money in a bag. And when he walked out, it was one of those what are those called that blow up?
Like an ink pack.
Yeah, he put the ink pack in and it blew up in the bag, and that's where he turned around, came back in the bank. He's like, I'm pissed now.
Yeah.
They've had enough.
I know that, Matt, you're right. The Brinks guys had changed their schedule, as did another policy that was in the bank. So when they only found, of the anticipated $750,000, which they had gotten, not but less than like a half a year earlier, when they took those two other Bank of America branches in LA.
Mm-hmm.
They would have expected that here, but also since they didn't get all of that, they wanted the bank manager to get them into the ATM. At least, look,
which is like, I can't.
Since we're here, because open up the ATM, man, open up the ATM. And the manager's like, dude, I can't. We just changed our policy. I don't have the keys. I can't open it. So of course they shoot that one up, and you're not going to shoot through that vault.
Can't shoot through that.
Well, you could, but
you're destroying everything.
You're truly destroying everything.
Yeah. What if they got a lollipop off the? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have this
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to
Or now you get a pen.
dolphin deposit with my pap, because like after they do whatever, they give us like a
Lollipop, yeah.
Good time.
Now they give you pens.
Damn pens.
Quick fun fact on this: the bank, this particular branch, is one of those branches that had maintained what are called bandit barriers. So a bandit barrier is the counter to ceiling bulletproof glass around the tellers and the vault area.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So despite having armor piercing rounds and shit like that, instead of trying to shoot through the glass, they actually shot through the door locks of the doors that get you into that encased area. And so, of course, they got in there. Considering the rounds they had, it was no problem.
Yeah, just shoot that right out.
Yeah, which is surprising considering how stupid these guys are. They figured out right quick, we're going to shoot through the lock since we can't shoot through the glass.
Well, what was funny is when they first went in the bank, they give themselves like a time limit, right?
8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay. So when they got in, I guess there was people walking by, like some lady was walking her dog and she saw two masked men enter the bank. So the cops were pretty much alerted from the door.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't really have like that few minutes of where, they know what time exactly they're going to have. So this lady was walking her dog, saw them, called the police, and there was a cop, I think like 2 minutes on the scene, came, pulled up. He's like, we hear, that somebody's in there. So when the two guys walked in, I guess they unloaded a couple hundred rounds in the ceiling right away.
Right.
To scare the shit out
I
of
think
people.
McLean was up there.
Yeah, like it just
McLean's up there.
started unloading rounds, and she's like, I hear gunshots. Like, I don't know what's going on. So then the cops right away were like, oh shit, something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Phillips and Mata Serrano had anticipated an 8-minute response time by the police. Every second inside needed to be swift and productive. But unbeknownst to them, their every move was already being observed. LAPD patrol officers, who happened to be on patrol near the bank at the time, immediately became suspicious upon seeing the heavily armed men entering. Within minutes, the officers heard Maserano's 75-round tantrum from outside the bank. The officers immediately called for backup, proclaiming shots fired, and signaling the start of a massive police response. Units from surrounding area quickly converged on the bank, forming a perimeter and readying themselves for what was to come. Radio communication buzzed with officers calling for reinforcements and strategizing their next moves. So these guys are inside robbing the bank. And in the meantime, all of the police, and I mean all of the police, are just coming in mass to surround this thing.
Showing up outside.
And they're none the wiser.
Yeah, plus, I think they had the ghetto bird too, like right over top. They're like, "Hey, he was on like the live. There was a live news feed
flying around.
Yeah, and he was saying, "Oh, we have over here at whatever the street was. There's a bunch of cops pulling up."
Ratchet news.
I had here written down
Ratchet.
that you talked about him being enraged when the money was like because it was all like small bills in there. I guess I had written it because in that documentary they had talked about that. And he was like so pissed and like enraged about that. I mean, still a good take, 300 some thousand. You know what I mean? But
shit, yeah,
you guys are greedy
for 8 minutes worth of work.
Yeah,
not bad.
I know,
no, I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the delivery. Of course, there was months and months of planning, and they had to buy the weapons. They had to buy all of the shit. They had to, make their armor. They had to, you name it, all the planning, all the everything. I mean, that takes time.
But robbing a bank like these days is not. It's not going to be. It's not going to end well.
You can't rob.
Yeah, you can't just rob a bank anymore.
No,
there's not. Like, I mean, there are banks, like we talked about that, but I don't think there's as much cash maybe in it. I don't know.
Yeah, the cash needs at branches anymore they vary, but they are small.
Right.
We're in a predominantly electronic world now.
Very true. Very true.
It's got its good things, I guess, and bad.
I still use cash. I love cash.
Cash is king, like they say.
Cash remains the king. Cash is good.
Do you accept cash?
Some people look at you strange sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of places, I think Hershey Park is card only, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is
a lot of places are going card only.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a matter of internal control, and I applaud that. I think that's good.
Plus, you get a percentage for using the card anyway.
Right. Well, they get hit with it.
They do. They take a little bit of a hit, but I think they make so much that it's easier for them.
There's certainly a cost benefit. I won't bother going into it, but they've figured out that it's more beneficial to have one centralized payment system, one central or only a handful of places that are receiving cash versus, cash kiosks all over the place, people with cash registers all over the place, the additional counting, the additional review, the additional all of that shit.
And people skimming it.
Yeah, there's no funny business with the cards.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're not taking $1 here or there for yourself.
All right.
Which probably happened back in the 80s.
Oh, absolutely.
Like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
At 9:24 a.m., with the bank's silent alarm triggered and 911 calls flooding in, Phillips and Mata Serrano exited the bank. Phillips from the north exit and Mata Serrano from the south. They immediately realized they were surrounded. Undeterred, they decided to fight their way out. From the moment they stepped foot outside, they unleashed a barrage of gunfire. Their automatic rifles and armor-piercing rounds tearing through police cruisers and shattering windows of nearby buildings. The outgunned officers returned fire with their service pistols and shotguns, but it soon became clear they were outmatched. So, you're a typical cop, right? And at this point, these guys got guns and shotguns. And you're a cop.
They had
And
9mm Berettas.
And you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, I'm a cop, right? Respect something.
Mm-hmm.
By now, there's everybody's all grown up, and everybody realized like the law always wins. I fought the law won.
Yeah.
So the law is always going to win. And here I am, a cop, and there's not just me. There's a bunch of my buddies here too. These two come out and they're like, "Fuck it, let's go," and they just unload, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
They just unload.
Well, they had AK-47s, assault rifles. They were used by like in Vietnam and stuff like that. They're Russian made. And I guess they had like the rounds in it,
Sneaky
223
fucking Russians.
But yeah, like I guess the cops were just so overwhelmed because they had 10, 11 shots in a 9mm Beretta. Some guys had like 38s or whatever. But there was nothing to stop these guys because they were clad in what?
Body armor and shit.
Yeah, bulletproof shit. But I thought that was pretty crazy. A couple of the cops were talking about like they were getting hit with shrapnel from the cars. Like these bullets were going through the cars, and then like metal and glass from the cars on the other side, like exploding. Asphalt was hitting them. Yeah, and they were getting shot as well. The one officer described he got shot in his lower back and in his butt, and then he said it like butt cheek, and he's like the intense burning sensation. Like I've never been shot, thank God, and I don't know how many people have, but he said that the intense burning and the pain was just like unreal, but you have that adrenaline going as well.
Sure.
So another gentleman said that he was shot in the ankle and it felt like somebody hit him with a hammer.
Yeah.
But he was able to continue moving himself to safety, but it was just all adrenaline.
Which like I'm sure we'll get into later is like what had to change for for cops
for law
today.
enforcement.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just can't. I can't imagine like they're this amount. These guys are in a war zone for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're hearing like shot, and these guys, I was like, like you said, unloading.
Unloading, dude. The sheer firepower and advanced body armor worn by the assailants rendered the officers' weapons nearly ineffective. Civilians caught in the crossfire ducked for cover. The sound of gunfire echoed across the neighborhood as residents and passers-by sought shelter. Phillips and Mata Serrano moved through the streets with terrifying purpose, their every step a testament to their training and preparation. For the police, each moment was a desperate struggle for survival. Officers took cover behind vehicles, buildings, trees, anything that offered protection. Helicopters circled overhead, broadcasting live images of the chaos to a stunned nation. Could you imagine being some just random dude that, hey, man, I'm just walking to the dentist's office. Hey, man, I'm just walking to the corner store, the liquor store, you name it. I'm just walking by, and you just happen to be
walking into that.
This shit's going on?
Probably think they're filming a movie or something.
Right.
Like, oh, they're doing Heat 2.
This isn't even a drive-by. I'm walking, and I could... Now I'm getting the walk by.
Mm-hmm. They were shooting at the news choppers too and shit.
I'd never heard that before. What did you call it? The ghetto bird?
Ghetto bird.
Ghetto bird. That's Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
I've never ever heard that.
Well, that's what they used to call it, like in L.A., because they'd always be flying over anywhere that you know the rappers or whatever were at.
No cops looking for murder.
So here comes the ghetto bird.
Yeah, then he also says AK-47 was
Assault
the tool.
rifle.
Well, he says AK-47 was a tool. Don't act the motherfucking fool or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he's referencing this.
But what's funny about this is not funny at all.
Not haha funny.
Not haha funny. But is like these guys were able to get this body armor and stuff like all through like buying it at like army stores and things like.
Didn't they make it themselves?
Well, no, it was like it was called something 3 and 2. The one guy had like a section 3 body armor suit that he put together. The other guy was like a section 2 or something like that. So it was like the 3 is the best. But they were like pretty much head to not quite so.
This is before Amazon and shit.
Yeah. So they were getting it from like
you said, Matt, Army surplus.
Like finding this stuff to put together to make their own actual full body armor suit.
There was and there remains guns and ammo stores. I mean, that's still a thing for sure.
But I wonder with that type stuff, like what the general public would need bulletproof. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody goes by that. It would.
But now today you can't. Like it would pop up. Like even if you were trying to get it, it would pop up on somebody's radar right away. You'd be like
on a list.
Yeah, you'd be on a list somewhere. Because they'd be like, what would they need that for?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we do on our phone is on a list. I mean, pretty much.
So
today,
Matt, I will definitely give you credit for that. So I wouldn't necessarily agree that it's going to trigger of something or another. Instead, I'm saying like from a federal perspective or whatever, like, you know, if you, for an example, if you look to buy a silencer or if you look to buy any kind of particular,
or like a kickback to make your.
There are a number of other weapons that you need.
But automatic,
you have to go through an additional level of clearance,
security clearance.
I mean, that's going to automatically trigger shit. Like with the what is it? With the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Yes, they don't like anything.
So for sure, stuff like that will trigger. But so I wouldn't necessarily agree with like the thing of like Kevlar or bullshit bullets or whatever the fuck. But I would agree wholeheartedly, Matt, with your assertion. And I believe it more than a lot of people. These little things in our fucking pockets are listening to us all the time.
Yeah, even when they're off, they're still on. You're still hearing everything or listening to your family conversations.
Your televisions are listening to you. You got a smart TV? I promise you they're listening to you.
Because right when you mention something, you see a commercial for it. Yeah, but 20 minutes later.
That's why you can't. That's why you can't take the batteries out anymore.
But no, I mean,
they're not off.
I mean, as we speak, I mean, there is. I think George Carlin said it. Like there is a group of people that are controlling pretty much everything, and we are not it. So,
not yet.
Not.
Well, we're working at it.
Yeah,
getting there. Yeah,
we're working on it. Oh, P.S. Every time I say Mata Serrano, I think of the
rapper dude.
No, I think
the
of
reggae guy.
No, I think of the black guy from Major League. Serrano.
Yeah.
Up yours, Joe Boo.
Yeah, he had little Joe Boo in his locker, and he would trade him. He's like, Joe Boo, bless this bad Joe Boo.
There was a white reggae dude named Madashahu.
Okay.
That's what I was
Really?
thinking of, yeah.
Oh.
You don't know Madashahu?
No, what does he say? Name one of Manajahu's songs.
King for a Day or King,
No,
King
I don't
something
know.
like that. You'll know it if I play it.
Did he sing about sacrificing a live chicken like
Oh.
Serrano from
No.
Major League?
That's a good movie, though, Major League.
Yep.
Part of that was in Harrisburg, right?
No, Major League 2.
Two
Major League
was
2
in
was,
Harrisburg,
yeah.
yes.
They did, so he didn't get to sacrifice the live chicken. Instead, they bought him a bucket of KFC.
Mhm.
So is this close enough?
Yeah.
All right. As the situation grew dire, officers resorted to extreme measures. They commandeered 5 high-powered rifles from a nearby gun store, hoping to penetrate the assailants' body armor. Still, Phillips and Mataseranu fought on, refusing to surrender or retreat. Their vehicle, filled with more ammunition and explosives, posed both an additional threat and a means of potential escape. SWAT teams finally arrived. With their tactical gear and training, they became integral in the fight, steadily advancing and formulating strategies to subdue the assailants. The sight of specifically trained officers moving in with heavier equipment boosted the morale of the outgunned officers. By now, over 350 cops had arrived, and nearly a dozen officers and 8 civilians had been shot. As much as the officers wanted to overcome the robbers, they had to rescue their injured comrades, too.
Yeah. SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics.
Yep.
I had to look that up.
I had, thanks to reading up on this, I learned that ambulances and paramedics and shit, they will not go into what's called like a hot zone.
Yeah, where there's live fire going on.
They won't do that. So
They didn't sign on for that in their job.
but that's
Yeah.
interesting because I compare that to, let's say I'm watching Band of Brothers, right? Or if I'm watching World War II or medics, right? That are going in.
Like,
Right.
medic.
Yeah. So a medic's going right into fucking fire and,
And they're
getting
not
bodies
armed.
out of there.
Yeah,
No.
they're not armed or anything.
Half of them
Yeah.
are pacifists.
Yeah, I wonder if, it's weird.
Yeah,
I
isn't
wonder
that was a thing? I think like they would either be like journalists or they'd be like medics.
Yeah.
If you were like a pacifist, because you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're drafted, so that happened.
Drafted,
that
yes.
of course happened in Vietnam. So if you're drafted, I mean, there's even earlier than that, but for sure, it's like, look, man, I don't like guns. I'm a pacifist, whatever. Okay, but you still need to be drafted, asshole. So
Yeah,
we're
you're
going to give
do
you a
something.
job.
Yeah.
Right, you're gonna do something.
But they were saying like injured people were just going down everywhere.
Oh my
And it
God,
was
yeah.
And cops, like I think a lot of people were just trying to rescue cops, like get them
Yeah.
out of where they were at, because these guys just came. They would like go in the bank for a minute, come back out, load their stuff from the back of the car with thousands of rounds, and just unload.
Well, the one cop they were profiling on there, he dragged himself like 30 yards over behind a tree, and he was literally they played a 911 call.
He was one like shot in the arm and the leg. Or
He was all
something like that.
over the place,
Mhm.
shot, and he was in and out of contact. You could hear it in his voice, like it was bad.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get to him, but I mean, there's being shots fired everywhere. It's just it was like a
Dude,
chaotic.
It was a war zone.
It's
Yeah.
mayhem, man. This is nuts. This shit does not happen.
Right.
This is like some guy that puts, however many tons of armor plating onto a
I was
bulldozer.
gonna say they should have called in Killdozer to take these guys out.
This is the same shit, man. This stuff does not fucking happen.
They were saying earlier, like the cops were so overwhelmed because just the pieces of the cars were shattering, the glass is shattering. They got 9mm Berettas that they're sitting there like taking 12 pop shots.
You might as well be shooting a BB gun.
But these guys would like just take it because their body armor was so up to date. They weren't like armor piercing or anything like that, or any type of high round ammunition. So these guys were just standing there when these guys were like, "What the hell are we supposed
Stuff
to do?"
is exploding. These cans are defective. They're just exploding everywhere.
exploding everywhere. Crazy.
The jerk?
The jerk, yeah.
Nice.
Why don't we do that yet?
Look,
a good
man,
one.
we're not done. We'll get through these.
Yeah.
The tide began to turn when Phillips uncharacteristically displayed signs of panic, because until now, these two hadn't met resistance during their robberies. Phillips dropped the money bag and made his way to their getaway car. Exiting the bank parking lot, he walked alongside the vehicle while Mataseranu slowly drove it. Stepping away from the vehicle, Phillips engaged 2 officers on his own. During the melee, Phillips' rifle malfunctioned, leading him to draw a handgun and continue firing. Now armed with the same feeble weapons as the police officers, the situation was soon to end for Phillips. During the exchange, Phillips was miraculously shot in the hand, the same hand he was using to fire the pistol. With the pistol now in his other hand, he raised it to his chin. A shot came from the pistol and killed him instantly. At the same moment, one of the officer's shots went through Phillips' shoulder and severed his spine.
Mm. Yeah, and they were saying on the documentary that they were
They didn't know if he committed suicide or not, right?
that he maybe like was trying to reload it or cock it back, but the one hand was damaged obviously from being shot, so they want to think that maybe it went off by accident.
So this is the part I think this is how it came up. How this whole topic of this particular occurrence came up, and I swore up and down that we had done this podcast somehow, some way.
Yeah, I do remember you saying this now.
So this guy, I am of the belief of that particular police officer of that school of thought that had said, there's no way this guy committed suicide. I think that and I agree with him, I think that he just he was trying to cock the weapon with one hand, using his chin, like to hold it, like, you put your chin down to your chest and, you put
just hold it and like, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what he was trying to do. I absolutely believe he was trying to do that, put in a new clip and be done.
Yeah, this guy wasn't trying to go out.
No.
He was just going to go out like getting shot.
Ain't going out.
Yeah, right. Say Brazil.
Yeah.
I mean, all he had at this point was a shot on his hand. That's
Right.
it. I guess his rifle malfunctioned because what did they say that caused it? It's chimney.
I don't
know.
The bullet gets stuck, popped up inside the chamber. So the chamber goes to load the next bullet,
And the
feeding,
shell, yeah.
and the shell gets caught up like that, so it's stuck.
Wow.
Stovepiped.
Stovepiped.
Yeah.
Stovepipe.
Good call.
Stuffing.
Not to be confused with hot box. Yeah, stovepipe. That's it.
Stovepipe
Nestle stovepipe stuffing.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I do love stovepipe stuffing.
Stovepipe,
It is the
it is
best.
delicious.
God damn,
It only
so
takes
good.
like a minute. You just like boil. Yeah.
It's so bad for you, but it's so
I
good.
think I'm going to buy that now.
God damn, that's good.
I think I'm going to stuff my Thanksgiving turkey with stovepipe stuffing.
Yeah, I like the chicken one, but you ever try they have like turkey?
Yeah, they have
Couple- they have
turkey.
a couple different ones.
They got a nice sage flavored one.
Yeah.
It's quite delicious.
I like the stovepipe stuffing and ramen noodle.
Yeah, ramen noodles.
What?
That's banging.
So good.
Wait, say what? Say what?
The ramen noodle.
How are you mixing stovepipe stuffing with ramen noodle?
No,
Because
no.
like they're both quick
No,
and
you,
easy.
You put them together?
No. I'm just saying
you
like
them.
yeah, I like them both.
Oh,
Like for a quick, easy
I'm
meal.
thinking like, man, I want to carb up my carbs.
No, there was a time in my life where stovetop stuffing would be like a dinner.
Oh, dude, shit, yeah,
Hell yeah.
man.
But like if I didn't have that, then like the ramen would be like next.
Man, you were having
I was a poor
No.
person for a time.
you were having like a good week at work, or it was payday when you had a box of stovetop stuffing. You bought yourself like a half a pound of turkey lunch meat and a can of gravy, and you were like, "Fuck yeah, man, this is my Thanksgiving dinner."
No, it would be stovetop stuffing, and you go get one of those like the chickens from like a Giant
rotisserie.
the rotisserie.
Oh,
Chicken.
damn, that's baller, man.
That is
Yeah,
baller.
right. And then maybe some green beans just in case.
So good.
I saw this this meme. It was, you guys ever watch The Bear?
Of course.
Yeah, you know how he's like a chef.
Incredible show.
So they have a picture of what's his name, Jeremy Allen something or something. I don't know what the guy.
Jeremy Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer. But they have a picture of him in his chef outfit, and then it says, "This is me when I crack an egg in my ramen." He basically like I'm such a chef, and like, you know what I mean. Like you're putting something together there. But that's me. I do crack an egg in my ramen from time to time.
You two church it up. I think we talked about this. Maybe we didn't, but just in case we didn't, which I think we didn't, I'm still doing Nissan cup of noodles, bro. You get me that styrofoam cup and some boiling
Add some water in
and
there.
that's it.
Add some water.
I don't know how to church up ramen. I don't know how to make ramen other than the Nissan cup of noodles shit I just said. That's the only ramen I know.
Yeah, I don't like soup ramen. I like noodles ramen, and you can add whatever you want to.
And,
Right,
dude,
Put
I
like
wouldn't,
chicken in there.
I wouldn't know what to do with that goddamn pack of stuff. Like the brick. I wouldn't know what to do with that shit.
And then you get to the edge of one of the seasonings where they're like, "This is not tampered with." Like, you ever see one of those packets where they get near the end and it looks like it's like, and they're like, "This is not tampered with. It's the end of the roll or whatever."
Yeah, you're good.
I still don't eat. I throw it out.
Eat up.
10 cents a pack. The hell.
It's true. So I from what I gather, you use those flavor packets for ramen noodles. That's used to make a chi-chi, which is a prison food.
Oh yeah, man.
It's a prison delicacy.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah,
I think.
they
One
embalm.
of you guys
They embalm people with that stuff.
Mhm.
I think it's just like some sort of salt It's not even real.
Dude, it's straight. Dude, it's
straight salt.
It's MSG.
Yeah.
You know me.
You down with MSG?
It's extra enhanced MSG. It's like MSG on crack.
Yep.
Yeah. You could snort that stuff and be high for like 2 hours.
Speaking of on crack and two guys that were on barbiturates, the sight of Phillips lying lifeless finally brought a glimmer of hope to the embattled officers. But the fight was not over yet. His fall marked a pivotal moment, but the remaining threat of Mata Serrano still loomed large. While attempting to flee in their vehicle, which now had 2 flat tires thanks to gunshots, Mata Serrano tried carjacking a passerby's pickup truck. After transferring all of his weapons and ammo to the hijacked truck, Mata Serrano soon discovered that the truck was immobilized, as the driver had engaged a kill switch inside the vehicle. Within seconds, and I mean seconds, 3 officers from the SWAT team arrived, and the shootout reconvened. Despite his makeshift body armor, officers managed to incapacitate him with careful, coordinated shots to his legs. At 9:59 a.m., Mata Serrano eventually surrendered, screaming out in pain and frustration. As he lay on the ground, gravely wounded, officers cautiously and methodically approached, eventually securing the scene. Mata Serrano died 70 minutes later in the same spot where he'd surrendered, having succumbed to massive blood loss from the 29 gunshots that had hit his legs.
On that documentary, they referenced that.
He bled out.
That's insane.
Well, see, on the movie, the 44 minutes, they showed, I guess the SWAT team came up and he started unloading with like the automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So they were down on the ground, and I guess this one guy was like, dude, he's wearing sneakers or something like that, or like a shoe.
Yeah.
So they started just going at the shoe, and then like it hurt. They did like 20 shots to like his
leg,
his foot.
His foot.
So then when he fell to the ground, they just started unloading on his legs.
So that's how that worked. So this guy, Mata Serrano, is using the police vehicle, or I'm sorry, he's using his vehicle
as the truck there
as cover, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So all of the other as he's standing there, the cops are hiding behind their vehicles, shooting back.
Yeah, they all just went down to the ground.
But they're shooting. So Mata Serrano is trying to shoot from a prone position. The cops are laying on the ground, shooting under the car at his fucking feet. So eventually they're going to hit. I mean, even a broke ass clock is right twice a week or twice a day.
Yeah, I guess the one SWAT guy was like looking right at his feet, and he's like, "Holy shit!" So they just started unloading like whatever they had right on his feet. And after his feet gave way because they had like 10, 15 shots in them.
Yeah, like taking a tree.
Yeah, then he fell to the ground, and then they just started unloading on his legs.
You know what's crazy too with this crime is this is one where like they literally have footage of all this.
Yeah,
because it's just like
the copters were the ghetto pigeons.
Yeah,
ghetto bird.
pigeons,
ghetto
birds,
ghetto eagle
are flying all over the place, like recording everything.
I made it more American.
That's American.
Right. But that seems like in LA, everything's always like,
oh my God, it's
on
constant.
Camera. Yeah,
everything is on camera. That copter never. It apparently never sets down.
Right, you can see everything going on.
I neglected to mention when with Phillips, who, in my opinion, died accidentally by trying to reload his weapon using his chin to his chest.
Right.
So he died, right? So he died immediately from that gunshot and from the severing of the spine.
Right.
When the cops approached him, despite him being dead, and I mean dead as fried chicken, they still cuffed him.
For real.
That's apparently a standard operating procedure. Yeah. And I would love to hear Officer Vince chime in on that.
The SOP.
Just in case they come back.
It's just like, look, I don't give a shit. Even if the guy doesn't have hands anymore and it's going to slide off of his wrist, you got to cuff him.
You're going to cuff him.
Yeah.
Officer Vince ought to let us know on that.
Yeah.
Please, Officer Vince, shoot us a message on that one.
But what you said about everything being on camera, I guess when the shootout started, there was like a camera crew that came in and started like talking about it. So I guess they had this one like hot shot guy who's like trying to move in, get like footage, and I guess one of the LAPD was like, "Dude, get the hell out of here!"
He's like that dude from Die Hard.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing, man? Get out of here!" So I guess like like you said, there were cameras everywhere just documenting this.
Matt, I'm thankful that you'd mentioned there's a movie about this, and the movie's called 44 Minutes.
Yes.
Until we just started recording this, I had no idea that the movie existed. Had no idea.
It was Michael Madsen, and who's the guy that says "slap at the base, man"? That guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like a SWAT team cop in that.
Dan Aykroyd?
No.
I saw it when I looked up, this North Hollywood shootout because I was looking for that documentary that you sent me, but I did use the link then, but I was looking on like the Fire Stick or whatever.
Sure.
And I looked up North Hollywood Shootout and it took me to that movie. And I was like, oh, that's not what I'm looking for. But that's the only reason I knew about it.
Ron Livingston. You guys know who that is?
Yeah, from Office Space.
Yeah. Michael Madsen, Mario Van Peebles was in it. I mean, not an all-star cast, but
I'll watch it for Michael Madsen alone. I love that guy.
Exactly, yeah. Michael Madsen's cool.
Yeah, he is cool.
Matt, your favorite part, the denouement. The gunfight lasted for 35 minutes. The whole incident lasted for 44 minutes, becoming one of the longest and most violent events in police history. Reports indicate that nearly 2,000 rounds were fired during the exchange, 1,100 of which were from Phillips and Matasareanu, and 650 came from the police. In the end, 11 police officers and 8 civilians were injured, but remarkably, the only lives lost that day were those of Phillips and Matasareanu.
God was looking down that day.
Well, this incident prompted a nationwide reassessment of police equipment and tactics, leading many departments to upgrade their arsenals with more powerful firearms and advanced body armor. So there you go, Matt. This was, in fact, as you had alluded, or at least mentioned, not alluded, you mentioned, this really taught a lot of police departments to, we really got to rethink.
We got to up our ante here.
Yeah.
We got to up the game.
But can you imagine like 650 rounds by cops
from the police?
Yeah,
and almost doubling.
And this was before I guess they went to like you said, they went to a gun shop and said, "Hey, we need whatever you have, some sort of automatic weapon." They didn't even get a chance to really get those ready to go, but they're just shooting rounds at these guys. These guys are just getting hit and being like,
fuck it.
Yeah,
it's true.
Like Superman.
Yeah, that'd be scary because you're like, what can we do? But I guess they said try to aim
just
for
a headshot. Like, why did they get a sniper like on another building?
Right.
And just, I guess, well, I don't know if police have.
Again, this was another part of like the tactics or getting the SWAT team ready with a sniper.
We can Monday morning quarterback the shit out of this.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, do they have, like, police departments have, like, a sniper?
I mean, we can't.
Sure. Oh, for sure.
We can't even really guard like the president or somebody running for president these days.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Oh, that's
where you have a guy basically on a roof with a rifle to snipe, and they're like,
just a hick mullet too, man.
Yeah, and they're like, maybe later we'll get this guy. I don't know.
Because like a headshot on these guys, you know, that would have been
it would have been it.
Indeed, a headshot would have taken them out. Fun fact: Phillips wore 43 pounds of Kevlar, which covered his entire body from his neck to his ankles, which tells me that the only thing exposed would have been, or susceptible to hits, would have been his 2 feet, his 2 hands, and his head.
Yep.
However, Matasareanu made his own makeshift body armor. That is to say, he used a bulletproof vest and ballistic metal plates. So he had nothing on his arms, nothing on his legs, and nothing on his head. All he had was the shit covering his vital organs.
In the middle, yeah.
He might, maybe he had like Colossus's metal underwear. I don't fucking know.
Right.
But dude, all he had was the chest stuff. So anything else would have been a hit. And yet, Matasareanu was the last one to die.
That's insane. Yeah.
Did I understand with 650 rounds? Like, what were the cops aiming at? Or was it just the barrage like was so much they really couldn't even?
Well, I don't think they were able to line up. And shoot.
So the distance, these guys were a few hundred yards from these guys, right? And so when you start invoking the use of a pistol from that great of a distance, I don't care who you are, man, especially in the heat of the moment, you're going to fucking miss, especially when you're being fired at in return. Like all you get to do is pop up, get a couple of shots, and you pop back down. Yeah. It's got to be tough.
I think I did see something on YouTube or when we were talking about this. The cops were saying like people go through their whole career without even pulling their firearm.
True.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So at that moment where it's like tung, 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 like it's blowing up your cop car in front of you and you're trying to grab your 13 shots of your 9mm, like you're not really sitting there quietly like getting an aim like you're doing at a range.
Right.
There's somebody shooting at you.
That's correct. I mean, absolutely. Look, this is taking nothing in any way, shape, or form, away from the cops. Like these guys were. This shit does not happen. This is a serious heat of the moment type thing.
Yeah, everything's when somebody's not punching you back.
Right. It's not something that they were preparing for.
No, not at all.
Not anyway. But there was probably a lot of like ducking down and shooting, you know what I mean? Like trying to get a shot off.
Or even if you're preparing for it, like I don't think your body or your mind is nothing can prepare you for like I could die here any second.
No.
Right? And that's why I give those guys so much credit because I couldn't do it.
I would, yeah.
I got a couple more fun facts just in case. Do you guys have anything?
No.
All right. So we've talked about the. No, I'll do this fun fact first. Fun fact: they had sewn stopwatches into their gloves.
Mm-hmm.
They actually learned that trick from watching Heat.
I did see that in the documentary.
Yeah, they showed that on the movie. But what was that about? Like, why?
It's so you don't have to twist your arm to make sure that your watch is facing you and it's twisting the right way.
It's just there. When
You're able to put your watch wherever. I'm sorry, you're able to put that watch face wherever you want it to be. What you know you're going to access quickly, and it's never going to move.
I always thought it was something like they said that the like snipers or guys in combat, they put their watch like that because that's the way that you would hold your gun.
That way you can look at your.
Yeah, well, you would put it to your wrist. It would be turned backwards. Your watch. That way, when you're firing, you can always see what time it is.
Yeah, maybe.
It's true.
Just in case I got to run and get some stovepipe stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've talked about what they were carrying and just subtle details here and there, but here and there. But here's the actual whole list, the all-inclusive list of the guns and ammo carried by Phillips or brought by Phillips and Monteserrano. They included 3 AK-47s with 75 and 100 round drum magazines. 1 M16 fully automatic Bushmaster rifle with 100 round drum magazines. 1 HK-91. That HK stands for Heckler and Koch. Heckler and Koch.
Mm-hmm. Koch.
Koch.
I think it's Koch.
I think it's Koch.
Is it Coke?
I think it's Koch.
Coke.
Yeah, it's some country.
Heckler and Koch semi-automatic rifle with 30 round magazines. 2 9mm Beretta pistols. 1 38 caliber revolver, and drumroll, 3,000 rounds, which included armor-piercing rounds. Fuck.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot, bruh, for a bank robbery. A single bank robbery.
But I think they knew it was time. Like,
So
I think they
were-
had everything ready for whatever would occur.
But were they anticipating that much? I guess so. I guess they knew going in that all resources would be sent there. I just wonder, like,
It's L.A., bruh.
yeah.
Why? So that's another thing too, man. Why don't go to the suburbs, man? Go someplace else. You could hit up like 5 banks and you could get the same amount
3
of money.
cop cars.
Well,
Yeah.
I had this written down too. They said this in the beginning of that documentary. L.A. is the bank robbery capital of the world.
No shit.
So that's why in the beginning they started with that. So I'm like, it's pretty crazy.
But I
guess
mean,
it was.
You don't hear it anymore today. Like, you don't turn on the news and be like, there was a bank robbery at blah, blah, blah. I mean, not that it's not still possible, but
No, not as much maybe as it was back
Yeah.
in the day.
So that's all I've got on the North Hollywood shootout. And I again am very thankful that we were reminded that we did not do this as a podcast. Very happy because I mean the story is just so bananas. It's completely worthwhile to have done this as a podcast.
It definitely was. Yeah, I wasn't aware of it. When you were talking about it. I never heard about this before.
really, you didn't?
No,
It was like
no.
big news when we were like still
Yeah,
kind of
man.
young.
That night I looked it up. I just Googled. I think I looked up like armor piercing bullets and something about a highway. I thought it had something to do with like on a highway or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't know this story.
Right.
So, but no, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood's up to no good.
Hey guys, can you wrap it up?
Oh, there it is.
Damn. Jeez. All right, man. Just in time.
She is
Yeah, right.
ready for bed.
She is
I know.
prompt.
Yeah.
It's bedtime for Bonzo.
It's bedtime for Bonzo.
Yeah.
Another Ronald Reagan. There you go.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The old Rager.
But yeah, I appreciate everyone's. That was a good one. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely be back. You guys got anything else in closing on this?
No, just it's odd that something like that has to happen for the people that we pay to protect us, to make them like, hey, we're not on the same level
Mm-hmm.
as people are out there today.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was 1997. So you think about, I'm sure a lot of changes have happened since then.
Well, yeah,
hopefully,
today,
but-
they call in like SWAT right away. They have like snipers on rooftops. But then again, like there was something that happened recently
Mhm.
that they didn't have anybody prepared.
Yeah.
So,
It's the squeaky wheel that gets you greasing.
yeah.
And our poor guys in blue are out there, defending us and protecting us and serving us. And, God bless them. God bless Officer Vince. God bless all of the police officers. And I hate hearing or, reading stuff like this that, these poor guys are stuck with administrative bureaucracy and bullshit and boards and commissions and you name it that are looking to, I don't know, they need to cut budgets or watch budgets or do whatever. And this is the result of it. I mean, inadequate weapons, inadequate defense. It's awful.
Yeah.
But
That's not my America.
Yeah, at least they know they're on
yeah.
like an even playing ground. They can get the same weapons that somebody who's trying to hurt them or kill them. They're on a level playing field.
Yeah, you don't want to
Just
be
good.
out armed. You know what I mean? The police, they cannot be out armed.
Basically,
like
knife to a gunfight. You don't want that.
That's right. That's
No.
right.
And we definitely love all of our listeners and especially our law enforcement friends. We had Chief Darrell that was on.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Officer Vince, obviously one of our main boys. So we definitely appreciate you guys. And it was a good one. Definitely appreciate it. We'll be back next week with another true crime or compelling story and a vintage cinema review. Anything you'd like us to cover, shoot us a note.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah, definitely. And leave us a 5-star rating. As I say at the beginning on Spotify or Apple, leave us a written review. And I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for hanging out in the old dirty basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is available streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.